You ready?
Good.
Good.
Right, let's start.
Saw Dijon Lee on the outside paired with Deontay Jackson practicing yesterday, Xavier Brown on the inside. Can you give us just an update on what that plan is? Is Dijon in the running to start potentially, or what have you seen?
Yeah, I think Dijon's had a fantastic camp. I think obviously with Demonte's been kind of coming back from off season. He didn't go through spring. He was very limited in the summertime, and so we just tried to kind of get him back the right way. And put him on a pitch count a little bit through fall camp, but he's handled it well. He's done a nice job, but it's allowed Dijon in the spring, summer, and fall camp to get tons of reps and reps with the ones. To me, with two very experienced corners that we have on this roster, we feel like Dijon can go right in. You know what I mean? So credit to him and the way that he's playing right now. I see him as a starter in our defense. So really impressive. It's 2 years in a row, right? We've had a young freshman that Mo Lindquist has done a tremendous job of developing that guy into being a starter level player for us. And so excited for Dijon and what that does for our defense.
Do you like Xavier Brown at Husky? Or what did he
Well, I think there's times, right? There's a time and a place to get your best cover people on the field. And so, certainly, I don't know from a practice standpoint what you saw, whether we were just kind of working a guy or not, but we try to get certain coverage aspects and all those things. Those are the things that we're going to try to explore as best we can. I don't know how soon we'll get to them in the season, you know what I mean, but certainly that's something that we want to be mindful of if we're ready to do that.
Give us a stat. Beeman's trajectory continued to go up kind of the way it did in the spring and the end of the regular season.
Beeman has done, you talk about the where Beeman was from where he was as a freshman at the beginning of last year to the role that he played in the bowl game. I thought he took huge strides in the spring, and he's done a great job in fall camp. Consistent, doing his job at a high level. The challenge of those interior D linemen, right, is always creating production, wrecking havoc in the backfield, and I think he's taking steps in the right direction to do that.
Can you give us an update?
I think you had a
appreciate
question.
that. When you have Cam in that room too, just what's the challenge in trying to find a role for him? So Cam Calhoun in that corner room as well.
Yeah. So Cam's done a really nice job. He's been doing both, things for us, both at the nickel position and the corner position. Did a nice job of working those things and handling those things. And then obviously we just you go back and you look, okay, what's the best option to get the best, too deep across the board? How do we get the best players on the field? And Cam's certainly going to be a part of that equation, probably in multiple areas. So really, really proud of him and the work that he's done in a year's time to be able to contribute.
Can you give us a status update on James Smith, his health, where he's kind of trending?
Yeah, James is doing a really nice job. Was dinged up there for a couple of days and has come back nicely, has kind of hit all of the markers he needed to hit. We got him, back out on the field the other day, and he looked fresh legs, and is he's such a havoc style player, right? He can create and generate a lot of havoc in the backfield, which is something I'm excited about, and how we're going to utilize him in that role.
What's the challenge in preparing for an offensive line with four transfer starters?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's give and take to that, right? There's things that we got to figure out. There's things that they got to figure out. And so that's ultimately, you kind of go back and you look at these guys, what they've done in the past. You try to mold that with what Gus has done, with what Mike has done in the past at Florida State. And so you're kind of trying to anticipate a little bit of everything that they do and knowing that, ultimately you're going to see something that you didn't work in practice. And so certainly we'll carry, a relatively heavy game plan, right, to be able to, if they want to go this way or that way, we'll be ready for it. But at the end of the day, right, you get 11 bodies on the field and you get ready to adjust. To me, that's the job of a defensive coordinator and defensive staff, is to find ways to, adjust as the game goes. And that's something that we've always taken great pride in, our ability to do that at a high level defensively.
I know he's moving the way he used to be moving now, but seeing Deontay Lawson out there, obviously itching to get back after that Oklahoma game last year, just how much close to form does he look?
Hey, my treat today.
I don't think they'll take that here.
Of course they take Discover. You're stuck in the past. Unlike me.
You look rad.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places nationwide.
Totally.
As he has the past years.
I think that's a great assessment because, to me, he looks a little bit more like the 2023 Deontay Lawson from a weight standpoint. He got, I don't know if he got too heavy last season necessarily. He carried a lot of bulk on and moved really well. But obviously from an injury standpoint, he had to come back from that, and his body is just in a position to where he's moving really fast. He looks good. He's playing with great anticipation. His level of leadership is taken to another level. He's playing his best football right now, which is pretty impressive to say. 9 months coming off of a leg injury. So really impressed with him. Proud of him.
Kane, what can Keon Keeley be for this defense?
Yeah, Keon is obviously just a frame, right, that is athletic and can move around. He's got to become more and more consistent in the things that he's doing. He's taken some strides, but, there's a little bit of been back and forth on some of those things as well in fall camp. And so as we push these guys, he's got to show a little bit more consistency to continue to move up the depth chart. But the skill level is there. The want-to is there. It's just going to be about continuing to kind of take that next step.
What does it take for a freshman to earn your trust to start week 1 or even to see significant playing time?
Yeah, well, it doesn't happen very often, and I come from a background of, my dad coached Pat Surtain Sr., and Pat was one of the only freshmen back in the day. This was the mid-'90s, right, that he started as a true freshman. That didn't happen, 25 years ago. You didn't have that. Guys played, they redshirted. That was pretty much a non-negotiable. Then they played on special teams their redshirt freshman year, and by their redshirt sophomore year, they were ready to contribute. And so the standard and expectation hasn't changed, just the level of play for a freshman to get on the field has. And when you get guys like Xavier Brown or Dijon Lee, it's impressive to me the level of discipline and commitment through their upbringing, to whenever they started playing sports. My guess is probably 5-6 years old, to the level of urgency and detail that those guys carry. What's so impressive to me with those guys is, like, when they make a mistake, they can fix it. And I've said this to you guys all the time before, right? But they sustain the correction, meaning that they can hold that same correction throughout a long period of time and not get hit on it in practice, 6, 7, 10, 12, 13. And so that, to me, guys that are consistent, guys that can make plays, they're the ones that are going to play. And if they happen to be a freshman, that's awesome.
We're about to talk to Day and Zebo over there.
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits of 5th and 6th year guys in this defense?
Well, there's a level of just experience you have in the game of football, right? You line up to a formation regardless of what defense is called, and you play with anticipation. We take a lot of energy and effort to get these guys to play with great offensive recognition. Defense is inherently reactionary. We want them to play with anticipation. And so older guys naturally just have more experience. They have more knowledge. They have more understanding of the game. And on top of it, right, they're in year 2 of this defense, right? So structurally, they know what the concepts are and how the concepts are applied to the situation. And then when they can play with offensive recognition, now they're making plays on the ball. So guys, Zebo can do a lot of things for us. He can play multiple positions for us. In fact, we've got him playing, 3-4 positions on the defense, which is really impressive. Day can do multiple things for us as well. He's done a great job with our at the Husky position and all the different variations that we ask those guys to do. But certainly experience is, it's finite. It's at a premium. Everybody wants it. And certainly those guys bring that to the table for us.
What have you seen from Kelby Collins, and where does he kind of fit into this rotation?
Yeah, Kelby's doing a nice job, just continuing to work and put himself in position. He's another one that, just from a consistency piece, has got to continue to raise the standard day in and day out of his level of consistent execution. But he's trying, he's working, and I think he's in position, to kind of fight and battle there.
Kane, this could be for defensive backs or any position, as a coordinator, what's your balance between getting, say, the best player, like the best combination of players on the field, to, say, the best one in terms of positional?
Yeah,
getting the best 5 defensive backs on the field rather than
right. No, I think that's a great question. Like, that's the thing I ask myself all the time, because on one end you want to create as much depth as you can, and you also want to get the right people on the field at the right time. And so whether it be situationally getting the right personnel on the field being mindful of how the offense operates. Are they going to go tempo? Are they going to allow you to sub and get the right people on the field? So maybe you got to be able to do that in a more creative way on first and second down. But ultimately, I think the job is to get the best 11 people on the field, but not at the expense of losing depth across the board, right? This is a long season, right? I think Ohio State, right, won the national championship. They played 17 games, I believe, right? That's an NFL season. That's an unprecedented amount of games that a college team has to play, and so those are things that we have to be able to get geared up for. So get the best people on the field when it matters most, situational football, but also create enough depth for us to be able to last and play our best ball when it matters most at the end of the season.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Roll Tide.